Good evening, everyone, and welcome to week 2 live session. Let's see if everybody's muted on here. Matt, do you know how to, Chef Matthew, do you know how to mute everybody?
Oh, you know what? I did know how.
Yeah?
Last week.
Let's see if we can remember how we do that here. Everybody muted out there?
No, sir.
No, sir? All right, everybody, if you want to mute yourselves, that'd be awesome. What's that?
Just saying hi.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you? Making sure you can hear me.
Good. What's up, Ruben? Good. Welcome to week 2 for CA 102 live session. It's so good to see so many chef coats out there tonight. If you haven't received your chef coat, you should be here real soon. It should be right around the corner. How many people out there haven't received their chef coats?
Right, and
Earl hasn't, Adam hasn't, a couple other people down there haven't either. All right, so hopefully those come in real soon here and we can get you in your chef coats and get you going for that. How'd everybody like the assignment this week?
Great.
Any frustration out there? Walk in the park? Joshua's up there shaking his head like he's got this thing down, doesn't he? No, not yet. No. I'm going to give you a word of advice about this week's assignment. Please remember to be patient, to discipline yourself, and practice. PPD, patience, practice, and discipline when it comes to knife cuts. You're going to hear that over the next couple of weeks. You're going to be wondering, why are these guys shouting about my knife cuts all the time? The reason is it's a big sign of professionalism. And regardless of which kitchen you go to throughout this world, we all use the knife exactly the same. I was talking to Sandra. She said that she ran into a little challenge with her knife the other day during the assignment. And, you know, this is the reason we're teaching you guys to curl your fingertips back. It's a very normal thing to have happen. It happened to me a lot when I first started using a knife. But if you practice, if you have patience, you practice, and you discipline yourself, these knife cuts are going to really start shaking up this week. Matthew.
Yes.
What'd you think about these the assignments this week? What kind of stuff did you see out there?
I thought it was very impressive. I was really happy. There are a lot of you need practice, and that's just the way it is. That's nothing against you.
Can you get respect? Because I have something I just eat. I
couldn't believe how many people really did really well. There were a lot of excellent cuts. And I mean, I've been teaching culinary classes for almost 12 years, and I've never had a class with that high a percentage of good results.
Awesome. That's great news to hear.
Seriously, there was a lot of good stuff. So.
Yeah. That's awesome to hear. With this week's, you guys are going to get a little bit tired of potatoes here in a couple of weeks. Then after that, you're going to get tired of carrots. And you know what? For the remainder of your career, you're going to be practicing these knife cuts and your knife grip and everything else. For the next couple of weeks, please. If you're, ladies and gents, if you're not managed or if you're not muted out there, can you go ahead and mute yourselves? There you go. I think everybody's muted now. For the next couple of weeks, you're going to be hearing a lot from Chef Matthew and from myself about proper knife grip, 3 fingers on the grip, index finger and thumb on the blade. You're going to be hearing about keeping the claw correctly because it takes time to develop the muscle memory. But once that muscle memory is established through the practice, patience, and discipline, it's going to become second nature to you, and you won't even think about it anymore. So keep on trucking. We're taking you guys from the first step from the basic culinarian up to the level of a professional culinarian, and you can always tell the difference in knife cuts. You might be thinking about why this is such a big deal. Check it out. in industry today, generally before we hire somebody at higher end restaurants or hotels, we do what is called a stage, and we have that new staff member follow us around, and we ask them to do various tasks throughout the day to check their technical levels. And one of the first things they're going to do is put a chef's knife in your hand to see how you slice and dice, and it will be a big test that'll pay dividends immediately once that happens. So just keep working at it. Had a bunch of questions this week about work. How many people out there are in industry and working now? Raise your hand if you're doing it. So we got a couple going out there. Awesome, man. The sooner you can get yourself to work, the better. Don't hesitate. Get yourself in the kitchen. Start going at it right now. We're going to talk here in a minute about a career coach. Have a lot of you out there heard from your career coaches yet? Anybody? A bunch of you guys have. So once it gets time to do the externship, which some of you are going to have questions about, we're going to get into that information. So certainly, by all means, if you want to start working, go for it, man. More practice, the better. Questions. So we get a lot of questions, especially at the beginning of this course. We're all new. We're all learning how to work with Google Drive. We're learning how to work with knives. There's a lot of stuff going on through everybody's brain out there. Don't get frustrated. It's totally normal. The Google Drive issue, you're going to get it down. It'll become second nature. If you're having problems with Google Drive, please contact technical support. I would love to walk you through it. Chef Matthew would love to walk you through it. We're not IT people, we're chefs. There's a lot of different equipment out there. There's a lot of different scenarios that play out. These IT people are awesome. They'll take the time to walk you through it. On the class page, we're going to take a look at it here in just a second. And we're going to show you some tutorial videos on how to help you out with that Google Drive issue. Hang in there, get through it, work it out. Just as a follow-up from last week, who do you contact about what? If you're having problems in the class, if you don't understand your assignment, if you're having attendance issues, other culinary-related issues, class issues, reach out to me, Chef Warren. Shoot me a text, 520-276-6281. My number is listed on the right-hand side of the class page. I'll show you that in just a sec. I'll get right back to you, and I'll hook you up. We'll get you straightened out. If you have a problem in relation to your specific assignment, right? You've done your assignment and there is an issue, or you have a question about your grade, talk to Chef Matthew. Chef Matthew's number and contact information is also located on the right-hand side of the class page, and he will get right back to you as well and walk you through it. We just talked about IT. If you need any IT support, technical support, that Google Drive is getting the best of you. You want to give up? Don't. Call 877-224-8576. That number is listed on the bottom of each page. So before we move too much further, I want to go back to Chef Matthew and talk a little bit more about this week's assignment and talk about some of the great things that we saw that came across the table and a couple of things that we need to take a look at. Chef Matthew, how are those cutting boards looking this week?
Cutting boards were looking pretty good. Some of them are very beautiful wood cutting boards and all that. But you guys, most of you had a towel or some kind of anchor underneath. And I know you're probably tired of hearing me say it, or I'm tired of saying it because I've said it 150 times almost. But I want to make sure there's a towel, a wet towel, or the shelf liner underneath it. And you want to make sure it's cut to fit directly underneath and not be hanging out all around it. So, so that's cutting boards. Should I keep going, Jeff?
Yeah, those cutting boards, one of the big issues that we run into in the commercial kitchen, it's a major no-no, and the reason for that is if you have all that exterior, or if you have all that cloth hanging out over the edge, it collects all the juices and the bacteria from the cutting boards, and that is the ideal breeding ground for bacteria, for botulism, listerosis, salmonella. It's right around 90 degrees inside that kitchen. It's nice and moist. That bacteria is going to get happy and start making lots of other bacteria. So we don't want to get anybody sick. That's real important that we keep that anchor underneath that cutting board.
Yeah, I think also with this assignment, there were a lot of little things that got missed, a lot of little details, and I think that if you guys look at how each number in the instructions is written out, if you follow those numbers exactly, then you'll have the right picture and you'll have the right things in that picture, and that's really what we're looking for. You know, we can't grade your dices if there isn't a ruler pretty close to it. You know, we need to be able to see what size it is. We can't just tell just by looking at it. So make sure those details are followed. It's going to help you get a better grade, and it's going to make grading easier for me. Let's see, the number of pictures. I don't think anybody went too far over. There were a couple that went a little over. There were some that were redundant. So like you had the same picture twice, or you had a picture of your hand next to the potato, you know, from one angle and then from another angle, you know, really just need one angle. So just think about that. The more I have to sift through, the better chance there is that I'm going to miss something or make a mistake. And I don't want to make mistakes. I want to be fair to you.
So going back to what Chef Matthew's talking about, it's a super critical. Once you get into industry, we hire generally based on two things, and that's attitude, aptitude, and can the person do it, and is he going to be happy about it? Once we get you into the kitchen, we want to make sure that you can pay really close attention to detail. I mentioned this last week. Can you imagine going into a restaurant and ordering an entree and then only having 1/3 of your entree show up on your plate? And you'd be like, oh. So, you know, you don't want to ask your waiter and say, hey, where's my bread? Where's my butter? Where's my iced tea? Where's my fork? Where's my knife? You want to make sure that everything is complete before you actually move forward. And now is when we're trying to develop those habits and get you going in that direction. So, and now it's really, really focused on that attention to detail. Go ahead, Matthew.
Okay. And grip on the knife. There, you know, I meant to have one right here so I could show you, but 3 fingers on the handle, and then the other 2 just like you're grabbing a pen or pencil on the actual back of the knife itself. I call it the unstoppable, amazing grip, because I know I've butchered bones before. I've cut meat before where I have, you know, a lot of resistance on the knife. And if you don't have a good grip on there, it's going to come flying out of your hand. And either that cuts you on its way out of your hand really bad, or goes flying across the table and hits someone else. So, so get a good grip on the knife. There's a good reason for that. And also, I say that, I know when I started cooking in culinary school, I had 5 years of experience in restaurants. So I had some bad habits to get rid of. You may have some habit that you have already formed. It's not an insult to you if you need to change that. It's just a recommendation from someone who's been in the industry that there are reasons that we pick the way we do things. There are reasons that we recommend that because it tends to work best that way. So none of it's meant as an insult. I'm not telling you, you know, that you aren't doing other things right. So, you know, grip may seem like a small thing, but it's really important. Also the sanitizer, the little lips has those 4 blocks on the side of it. Those 4 colors indicate where the chlorine level is inside the sanitation water. So when you dip the little paper in there, it should match kind of right in the middle of the 2 blocks in the middle. I saw some of them that were like completely black or almost completely white, you know, total other ends of the spectrum. So that automatically means that your sanitation water is not correct. So that's something you should fix. I learned from culinary school, and you guys will learn this too. When you do things right, present those things. If I make 100 dices and 25 of them look terrible, guess which ones I'm gonna throw away, right? Yeah, I'm gonna present the good ones. That's right. Show me the good ones. I'm gonna know there's practice behind that, and that's the whole point. So,
Chef Matthew, the sanitizer water. One of the reasons we bring that up so much in class is because once you get into industry, that's going to be on your workstation every day. So it's something you're going to have to set on a daily basis. Just remember, a half gallon of warm water to half a teaspoon of bleach will get you right in between that 50 and 100 parts per million mark. So right in between 50 and 100 parts per million. It's a light purple color. If you get up into the black range, that's you are at a certain level of toxicity that can get some people sick. So it's it's really for your own good. The health department has a tendency to get a little, irritated over it. So something we kind of focus on.
Absolutely. And yes, I know you're not serving 45 people out of your home kitchen, but it's the idea of practicing it and making that your habit. The sooner you make those good habits, you're going to walk into somewhere and apply for a job, and you're going to have fantastic habits. And they're going to say, okay, this person's been trained formally, which is very important in our industry. So develop those good habits. That's all I have for now.
What about uniforms? How do we do on uniforms this week?
Oh yes, uniforms. It looks like we had a lot of people in uniform. That was really cool. And I have to say kudos to those who did not have their uniforms. Quite a few of them had proper shoes and pants and aprons and other hats on. So they were trying to come up to industry standard, but not in our uniform, but that's good. I appreciate that. It shows that you understand the importance of the uniform itself.
Mm-hmm. So awesome job, everybody, on your week 1 assignment. It is impressive. And this is where I start to get really excited as an instructor, because we're starting to see your skills develop. We're noticing your knife grip. You got 3 fingers on the grip. You got your index finger and thumb on the blade. You've got your claw grip going. So awesome job. This is where things start to get fun. So we are going to really look forward to next week's assignment that we're going to get into here in just a few moments. We wanted to take a quick moment to discuss what your week should look like at Escoffier. We talked about this last week, and just as a quick reminder of the way it should be, on Wednesdays, certainly attend the live session and read your research materials for your knowledge check. All the answers to the knowledge check are right inside those research material. So it's real simple. Remember, when you're taking those knowledge checks, that you can take those knowledge checks as many times as you like, utilizing the research material. So no reason not to do that. So you've got your live session and your research materials on Wednesday, Thursday. If you need to, take a look at the live session archive if for some unfortunate reason you missed it. And then get those knowledge checks in, get them submitted by Thursday, get them done out of the way. This way, if you need to take it again or do it over, you have plenty of time and there's no concern there. Friday, you're taking a look at your assignment. You're taking a look at your mise en place. What do I need to go out and purchase? What haven't I gotten yet? You're creating a plan. You have to remember, in the restaurant industry, it's all about planning everything. When we go to do a banquet, or when we go to serve 500 people, whatever the case is, we plan things out days in advance. So everything goes off like clockwork. A great chef is calm, tranquil, chilling the whole time. Purchase your mise en place, create a plan, and then get this week, you want on Friday to get your skills assessment done that we're going to get into here in just a few moments. And then on Saturday and Sunday, you want to complete that assignment and get it submitted by Sunday at 11:59. The assignments are still officially due Tuesday at 11:59. However, try to get them in by Sunday at 11:59 this week. This way, Chef Matthew has plenty of time to get them back to you if you have to make any adjustments. If you forgot to add something in there, if you made a mistake, whatever, Chef Matthew is going to evaluate it. You're going to get an email letting you know that it's been done. And then, hey, if I got to fix it, I got time. I'm on Easy Street. So try to get your assignments in by Sunday and move forward. Before we take a look at another piece of information, I wanted to spend a quick second on time management. It's critical. A successful chef, you can have killer knife skills, you can have killer saute skills, you can rock and roll at this and that, but if you can't manage your time, which is our most valuable resource, you're going to have issues, man. You've got to plan everything out. Organize yourself, think in advance, think about what you're doing, you know, you start as a cook and you work your way up to becoming a chef, and a lot of that involves time management. I want the guy that comes in my kitchen that's organized, quick, and efficient because he's planned everything out. So keep your mind thinking about that pretty soon. We're going to take a quick look at our class page to give you a little refresher coming up here. And show you some new things that we got going on in our class pages. So we're going to take a look at, hang on guys, I'm sorry, I apologize. We're going to take a look at something that was added this week. If everybody goes into the chat room on the class page, the class cafe in there, you're going to notice a bunch of things that were placed in there by yours truly earlier today that another chef of ours put together. And we have our career services map. And we talked about that just a moment ago. You're getting ready, or down the road, you're going to be getting ready to do your externships. You've got questions about work, et cetera, et cetera. Career services are going to help you out. Depending on which part of the country you're in will be depending on who you work with. So if you're out on the West Coast, you have one career services coach who's a different career services coach on the East Coast. That map explains who is who and gives their phone numbers as well. Zoom 101 right down here. This is a great tutorial. We're in Zoom right now. It will teach you a lot of good information about it. Time zones. I know there's still a little bit of confusion out there. I still get confused about it as well. We work in Central Standard Time. So if you were on the East Coast, it's going to be a little bit different than what it is on the East Coast. So that inside this folder here, you will see a map of the United States and listing out the different time zones. Temporary dress code. We talked about that last week. I think most of you guys now have your chef coats and you're looking sharp. It's critical. It's just a habit we get into because once we're in industry, this is gonna be what it's all about. Due dates and times. We all get a little bit confused about that because we're new. We got so much stuff going on. So you know, we have our assignments due Tuesday at 11:59. Our knowledge checks. When is late, et cetera, et cetera. So all that information is right in here. This due date, due dates and times. So that information is there for you to take a look at. And then something else on our class page that I didn't show you last week. I know some of you are still struggling with Google, and which is completely normal. Don't be discouraged. It's going to get better. If you click on this Help Center button right here, there is a bunch of Google tutorials in there they're short videos. They're going to walk you through on how to upload your files to the Google Docs. They're going to talk to you about how you use your Drive, et cetera, et cetera. So that's simply just clicking that link on the on our class page, the Help. Click on the Help Center, and it'll take you right to those docs. So those are going to help you out too. up here in the right-hand side of the screen, you're going to see the little bubble right here. If you see a red number next to that bubble, that means we're trying to get a hold of you. We have some important information to share with you. Some of you know if you're running late on your assignments, you're probably going to hear from Chef Warren, or when your assignment is completed, you're going to hear from Chef Matthew. So definitely keep your eye on that. Let's see. And then scrolling down here to help you guys out with this week. There is a new button on your class page right down here, right underneath your assignments. It says Week 2 Classic Knife Cuts, Potato Skills. If you scroll down to the bottom of the box, you're going to see A102 Week 2 Examples and Help. There is some awesome information in there. It's going to lay it out for you exactly how to do your assignment this week. We're talking about juliennes and fine juliennes and brunoise. And then there is some information here that is invaluable. Talking about the rulers, right? How many of you know what 1/8 of an inch is on a ruler? Well, here it is. It's spelled out. And then down here, we talk about what a 1/16 of an inch is. These are actual photos from submissions. If you notice the way they have the product lined up along the ruler, and then they have 2 different views of the product, so we can see the width and the length of the product. So remember that in your submissions this week. Very, very important.
I love that stuff. That's good.
Isn't that nice? That was a suggestion from our Chef Chanel, and I think this is going to be an invaluable tool for us to utilize in here. There's also a really good picture. I know Chef Matthew was talking a few moments ago about the test strip and how critical it is to get that right on the money when you're in industry. Right here, folks, is a picture of a test strip that's coming in right in between 50 and 100 parts per million. Hey, Chef Matthew.
Hey.
Was anybody holding up the fingers for the week 1 assignment or the sign for the week 1 assignment this week?
Yes, quite a few of them were. Yep.
Awesome job, guys. Keep it going. We want to.
There were a couple papers up, and don't anybody let me forget to tell my story about dirty fingernails.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
You know, we're full of stories.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all of you out there are going to have a ton of stories here after a couple of years. A lot of fun things happen in the kitchen. A lot of awkward things sometimes pop up, too. So you get your notepads out and remember them. There were a couple of questions last week in regards to the assignment about the actual measurements. I believe last week we were calling for a 1 cup of bâtonnet and a 1 cup of small dice. That should be in a 1 cup measuring unit. Just to verify that it is a 1 cup measurement. And down here, this week we're asking for a 1/2 cup. So we want to put it down here in a 1/2 cup. So taking a look at this week's assignment, folks. Big news. We got some cool stuff going on. Remember, we're trying to shoot for Sunday to get this assignment submitted. So we're going to get everything planned out on Friday, and then we're going to get everything worked out on Saturday and Sunday, and then submit Sunday night. This way you have plenty of time to resubmit. Okay, this is a critical thing that we're doing this week. It is an assessment, a knife skills assessment that you are going to do a 150-word document, and you want to use a Google Doc to fill this out, and you'll put it right into your Google Drive with your pictures. And the first question, how would you assess your knife skills before you started the program? How were they? Were they good? Were they average? So you just want to make an honest assessment of how they were. How do you think you've improved so far? What have you made any improvements? Do you feel more comfortable holding the knife now? Does it make sense? Now's a good time to bring all this information out. And then tell us a brief background of you and if you have any industry experience or not. We're trying to get to know you a little bit better so we can better serve you and help you out. So give us a little bit of information. And then what do you intend to do with your education when you are done? Executive chef, own a restaurant, you want to stay a line cook, you want to be a personal chef, you want to work on a cruise ship, tons of things to do out there. You want to become a director of food and beverage. Let us know what direction you want to go in. It always helps with your education. Taking a look down here at your photos this week. We talked a few moments ago. You guys did awesome on this past week on your week 1 assignment. We want to keep that trend going. We want everybody to get that assignment in, and we want to have everybody submit 10 Diaz photos, 10 photos with your assignment this week. First assignment is going to be a picture of yourself. You should most of all of you should have your chef coats now, your headgear. If you haven't got your baker's cap yet or your skull cap yet, wear a ball cap, wear a bandana. Don't wear that Wisconsin cheese hat. Don't wear that sombrero. We don't want you to have any type of danger out there. Proper station setup. That means you're going to have your cutting board with anchor neatly tucked underneath your cutting board. You're going to have all your mise en place lined out. And as a word of advice, and I think Chef Matthew will probably back me up on this, when you're setting your workstation, the only thing you want to have on that workstation is in reference to what you're actually doing. The more stuff you have to move around, the more stuff you have to trip around. Get rid of your can openers, get rid of your saute pans, get rid of your 2-liter bottles of Pepsi, get rid of all that stuff. Just have only what you are working with as far as your mise en place is concerned. You will go much faster and you will be much more organized.
Yeah, I also look at it as a matter of safety. I know if my workstation gets too piled up with stuff, I can't move my hands and my knife like I want to, and that's how I end up cutting myself. So keep that station clear of anything. Only the things you absolutely need.
Absolutely, and that's the way we work in industry too. We love to have all sorts of stuff around us at all times, but less is more when it comes to station setup. Trust me. Picture number 5 is going to be holding a knife grip. Proper demonstration of the grip. So you're going to have a picture of you holding your knife. You're going to have 3 fingers on the grip, index finger and thumb on the blade. And then their next picture is going to be the proper claw. Right? So your claw is going to be fingertips only on the food, first set of knuckles extended forward, thumb and pinky tucked away so they don't get cut. Those are the most common cuts in the kitchen. They happen quite frequently, so you want to make sure that they're tucked under. Fingertips are holding that food in place. Knife blade is guiding up against your knuckles. Okay, guys, these are the cuts that we're going to be making this week. Julienne is a common kitchen cut, and I think most of you have seen that out there. It is a long, thin cut, 2 to 3 inches long, and it is an 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch by 2 to 3 inches. There is a picture right here. This is a Julienne. This first photo right up here is a Julienne cut. This is a really nice Julienne cut right here. And then on that help folder that we saw just a moment ago, there are examples of Julienne cuts right here. If you open up and click on these pages, they will expand. And this is a Julienne and a fine Julienne that we're working on this week. So taking a look at your brunoise. A brunoise is 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch. This is my recommendation to make your life easy. You're going to peel your potato. You're going to remove the eyes, and you're going to have a nice, clean, large potato if available. Then you're going to cut that potato into your rectangle. You're going to square it off. Once that potato is squared off, the better your square, the better your planks are going to come out. Your planks, you will cut at 1/8 of an inch, that thick. So you're going to have slices of potatoes that are 1/8 of an inch thick. You're going to take those sheets, and then you're going to cut them 1/8 of an inch once more, creating the Julienne cut. So this will be your final product right down here and right in here. Once you have your Julienne cut, load it into your 1/2 cup, snap a picture of it, empty out the cup, lay them down neatly on your cutting board, and then you're going to make a 1/8 inch cut to make your brunoise from your Julienne. And this is your brunoise right here. So you just simply lay those Juliennes out flat, cut them 1/8 of an inch, and you will end up with a nice half cup measurement of the brunoise. So once again, this is a julienne. This is an awesome photo. Half cup measurement, very consistent. Take your time on these knife cuts. We're not concerned about speed at this point. We're trying to work on accuracy and learning the techniques of the knife grip. If you look at the way the product is lined out on the inch side of the ruler, it's 2 inches long and it's 1/8 of an inch thick. It's right on the money. So awesome job to whomever prepared this. Going back to our assignment.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that was nice. That was sweet. Fine julienne close-up ruler. Okay, a fine julienne is going to be defined as a 1/16 of an inch by 1/16 of an inch by 2 inches. So this is a fine julienne right here. It's a very fine shoestring cut. Basically, a fine julienne is half of a regular julienne. And then guess what you're going to do once you have your half cup measurement of these? You're going to line them up nice and neat, and then you're going to cut them 1/16 of an inch to create your fine brunoise. You're probably going to be looking all over your cutting board trying to find those fine brunoise, but they are there because they can sometimes be difficult to see. When I used to work for Fairmont Hotels, and you know, and my mouth was like, woo, way out of control, and I knew more than the chef, and he decided to teach me a lesson one day, and he gave me half a case of russet potatoes and told me to brunoise them. And after about 8 hours of brunoising potatoes, he came over and he dumped them into the garbage, just to show me, you know, who was in charge. But to this day, I'm pretty proficient doing a brunoise based on that experience. But that's a little side story. I don't know. So we have our julienne, which is this cut. You can see it's coming in right at 1/8 of an inch. And then we have our fine julienne, which is coming in right at a 1/16 of an inch. And then we have our brunoise coming in at 1/8 of an inch, and our fine brunoise coming in at a 1/16 of an inch. Our regular julienne right here coming in at 1/8 of an inch, and our regular brunoise coming in at 1/8 of an inch right here as well. So this person has done a fantastic job on their assignment. Once again, for those of you that get a little confused with rulers, right here you go, on the house. 1/8 of an inch right here on the ruler. Bingo, don't use the centimeter side. And then if you scroll down just a little bit further, guess what we got? 1/16 of an inch, which is half of 1/8 of an inch. Right here on the ruler, complimentary picture. So you got that good. So going back to our assignments, you're going to have your 4 knife cuts this week. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Julienne, 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch by 2 inches. Brunoise, 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch. And then fine julienne, which is a 1/16 of an inch, and fine brunoise at a 1/16 of an inch as well. Chef Matthew, what do you have to add in to getting the assignment done this week?
Well, kind of thinking about it. Stick to those pictures and stick to 1 through 10. Don't try and go out of the park with any of them. Just stick to the basics. Also, on the essay, people don't like to hear the word, we have to write a paper or 150 words. Does anybody know how much 150 words is? It's like a quarter of a page, right? Am I about right on that, everybody? It's like a quarter of a page. You look at those questions that are on there. If you answer those questions even kind of thoroughly, you're going to be at 150 words easily. So don't sweat that writing assignment along with it.
That's a lot of words for a chef.
Yeah, usually they're in the walk-in cooler, right?
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, just keep rocking and rolling. You guys did an awesome job on your week 1 assignment, and I was impressed with the stuff that I saw, and I was really encouraged. Like I mentioned, I'm starting to get really excited in this part of the course because we're starting to see some good progress. I can't wait to see what happens in week 2, and I hope we get everything in by Sunday. Just remember, knowledge check. We got 2 of them this week. We want to get them done on Friday. This week we have the skills assessment, 150 words. Get that in on Friday. And then, or the knowledge check, get them in on Thursday. There's 2 of them, easy, get them done. Friday, knowledge check, or the skills assessment, and then Saturday and Sunday, work on your assignment. Submit it by Sunday night. Boom, you're on easy street for the rest of the week. Do we have some questions out there? I saw some hands that were popping up somewhere. Tonya, what do you got?
Okay, so my question is about the pictures of the Fine Julienne and that. So on the pictures that you showed us, you saw some in the silver cup that were stacked real nice and pretty, and then there were some in the black one that were kind of just laying there. Does it matter how we have them in there as long as it's in the half a cup? Do you want them to be the stacked? Do you want them to be the nice and pretty?
No, you're fine either way, Tonya. You can stack them, or you can just lay them into the cup like that. We're just trying to make sure that you're getting a half cup.
Perfect.
And the real reason for that is that we can see that you've done the practice, because the practice is good for you. And the practice is good for you.
Yes.
So if they're laying up or standing down, either way, we're going to be able to see how good the cuts are. And that's the main thing for me, is if I can't see what those cuts are like, then it's really hard to grade.
Okay.
So great question.
Thank you.
And then for those of you that don't know this, there should be an area on your screen that will allow you to raise your hand. I think it's down in the corner. I see Erica's holding her hand. Why don't you go ahead and press that button, Erica? And then we're going to get to Timothy here, who's had his hand up for a few moments. Timothy, can you hear me? Can I hear you?
Even if he does.
Well, drop me off before you do that.
No, I know that.
All right, Timothy. We're going to go ahead and
come with them to their parents are back.
we're going to go ahead and put you back on mute again.
I'm just gonna go see.
All right.
I'm just gonna show it.
Yeah, Chef, I can't find that control.
All right, we're good. We're good. How about Shaquanda? Am I saying that right, Shaquanda? Hi, Shaquanda. Yeah, I can hear you. Shaquanda, did you have a question? No. No, okay.
Okay.
What about Tanisha? Tanisha.
Oh.
Hi, did you have a question?
No.
No, okay.
Okay, I gotta tell a story then.
All right, you tell your story.
All right, so I started working at this Italian restaurant. A friend of mine was the chef there, and he needed some help, and he was going to open another Italian restaurant in another part of the state. So anyway, the owner there, he used to, anytime someone new started in the kitchen, he'd go back and show them how to make the bread. So this was like my first day there. So he comes back in the kitchen, and he's this big, hairy Italian guy who pushes people out of his way, and he'll grab the knife out of your hand and start cutting on the cutting board. And he's just a crazy guy. But he starts making the bread, and he's kneading it with his hands. And then I noticed that the bread looked like it had herbs in it, the dough. And so I thought, oh, he's making herb bread. I didn't see him put the herbs in the bread. And then I was talking to one of the servers, and I said, so is he making herb bread? And she goes, what? And I said, no, he's making the bread. She's like, oh, you got to throw it away. I'm like, what? And she goes, yeah, you got to throw the bread away, because look at his fingernails. He doesn't trim his fingernails, and they're full of junk. All that junk is in the bread, and it looks like herbs. I was like, what? So I started making another batch of bread out of sight somewhere. And as soon as his dough was ready, I threw it in the trash and he didn't see it. And then I pulled my dough out and started making rolls.
How?
True story about nasty fingernails right there.
Is it still open? I just want to make sure I don't go there. Oh, nasty. All right,
Yeah.
man. How about Galaxy Note 8? It looks like you've had your hand up for a few moments. What you got going on?
A question as well.
Hi. Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
Galaxy Note 8. That's not really your name, is it? Galaxy? All right, we'll wait till you get back to us. How about Erica? What you got going on, Erica?
I have a question. It's actually about the career coaches.
Uh-huh.
Me personally, I've never worked in the industry before. I'm a home cook.
Okay.
So all this is new to me. And if I wanted to get a job in the industry, will the career services be able to direct me to like maybe entry-level positions into the cooking industry?
Absolutely. They're there to help coach and guide you. And then as another recommendation too, you could certainly go out and start taking a look at some of the local places that are going to help you pursue some of your interest. Depending on where you plan on taking this career, you might want to, if you plan on going into hotels and resorts, then maybe you want to start knocking on some doors there. Talk to the chef, tell them you're going to Escoffier, tell them you're trying to learn. A lot of times they'll take you underneath their wing and help you grow. If you're trying to get into a catering business, start working for a caterer, start getting some experience underneath your belt.
Okay, thank you, Chef.
You're welcome. Have a great night, Erica. All right, how about Tonya?
Oh,
Tonya, can you hear me?
We already asked my question. I'm good.
okay.
Oh, good. Okay, so we killed two birds with one stone.
I think Paul is next.
Paul is next. All right, how about Paul?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I'm doing this properly. Am my screen on? I'm not able to tell.
Paul, I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat your question?
I was just wondering, am I doing this right? Is my audio on right? Am I session properly?
We are making contact. I can hear you now. You're doing right.
Oh, okay.
Yep, looks good.
So you're on the money. How about Joshua? What's going on, Joshua?
Hey. All right, quick question about this week's assignment. I noticed, I think it's the second or third picture that it says proper station setup, and then later it says show proper mise en place. I thought they were kind of repetitive, so I wanted to make sure I knew the difference between just proper station setup and then proper mise en place. I don't want to take two pictures and they look really close to the same thing.
No, your proper station setup is going to be your cutting board with your anchor,
Okay.
the equipment that's required, and then your sanitation bucket, sanitation strip, and all that kind of good stuff there on your station. And then just, I wanted to mention, I know a lot of you guys will get in the habit of keeping your sanitation buckets on the counter. However, in industry, we don't do that because if you splash sanitizer onto your food, it becomes what we call a chemical poisoning. So we want to make sure that we eventually get ourselves in the habit of keeping that down below. So that's a good question, Joshua. And then the picture of the mise en place will be everything lined up on your cutting board, such as your potatoes and all that kind of good stuff for this week. As we progress, your mise en place will become more entailed. We're not going to be working with potatoes for the next 12 weeks. We get into all sorts of exciting things. So your station setup will change.
Kaylee.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yes.
All right. How about
Oh, Mommy's
Paul? Paul, can you hear me? Paul, we already talked to Paul, didn't we?
Yeah, we already got Paul.
And we already talked to Galaxy Note 8.
Archie has his hand up.
Let's talk to Archie. All right, Archie. We got to get you a new birthday banner back there. That thing's 3 years old.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
I've got a question with holding the knife. are we to pinch at the top of the blade? Because when I bring it down, I end up putting more pressure right in the crack of my index finger, which ends up hurting my finger or damaging my finger because I'm putting pressure here. So should I be pinching at the top of the blade?
You're going within a short period of time, you're going to have that lovely battle wound that all chefs have, and that's a callus that builds up right along this index finger. So you will lower your index finger and thumb down to grip the blade completely, just like that. That's a nice looking grip. So you're going to have 3 fingers on the grip, and you're going to have your index finger and thumb that are going to be nicely down onto the blade. You will get that nice callus on your index finger.
So this will happen. Okay.
That will happen, yes. And if you tie it, sometimes when a bunch of us get together, we all like to show our callus, and it's
who's been doing the most work, huh?
Sign of brotherhood, I guess.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. What about Richard Smith? Richard, you out there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's going on?
My question was, I started working before we started classes. I started working for a country club, and I talked to the executive chef. We got a new one, but I talked to him and he said that he's willing to allow me to do some of my assignments there, and I just wanted to make sure that it wouldn't be an issue because I know that the way everything is set up, is basically homework, what I'm saying? You're doing it all at home or whatever. I just wanted to make sure that it's not going to be an issue and that everything's going to be okay me doing it.
We are all about that. That is awesome. If you can do your assignments inside the commercial kitchen, that's awesome. I mean, you're out, you're getting experience, you're learning, you're using those techniques, and that's what we want. So, go for it. Absolutely. Yeah, that's right on the money. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Good question.
Do we get everybody's questions? Anybody else have questions? Anyone? Speaking now.
Hey, how do we cook what we've already cut up? What's a good way to cook all those little batonette cuts?
There's a ton of different things. The little batonette cuts are going to be really difficult. You can certainly start pan-searing them. They could end up being mashed potatoes. Just mix it with your other potatoes. You could saute them with some brunoise bell peppers, which would be awesome, and just do a little bit of hash. It's great knife skills practice. You could certainly dice up some type of protein, such as a leftover ribeye. I think you're into doing barbecue. You could break down some ribs, mince that meat real fine, saute those brunoise peppers, throw that meat in there. Boom, you got a nice little brunoise hash working for you right there.
Okay.
Sound good?
That sounds good.
Yeah, and that list goes on and on. So it's pretty much up to your creativity. Our primary focus is getting you guys to learn these techniques. Pretty soon in your next class, CA 121, you're going to be flying without recipes. You're going to be doing just these techniques that you're learning in this class. So great question by Archie, but really focus right now on getting those techniques done. It's extremely important. I, along with Chef Matthew, am looking very forward to next week's assignments. Let's not forget, you've got 2 knowledge checks this week, research materials, right? And then also on this week's assignment, you have the skills assessment, which is 150 words. Do that in a Google Doc. Slip that Google Doc right into your drive and then share it with your photos. Certainly don't forget that assessment. And then we talked this week or a little bit earlier about who to contact for what. It's really important to keep those questions going in the right way. I noticed in the class cafe, you guys are doing a lot of really good information in there, and it's some really cool stuff. But if you have specific questions regarding your assignment, concerns with Google Drive, we all get frustrated, but it gets a lot better. Reach out to me, reach out to IT, and they're gonna hook you up and take care of you real quick. So certainly take advantage of IT and that help button that we talked a little bit earlier about. We also talked tonight about the fact we have a help button now underneath the assignment page. So just to take a look at that again, real super quick. Make sure everybody knows where it's at. This week 2, right? If we go to our home page, which is our class page right here, and we go underneath the week 2 assignment, we're going to scroll right down to the bottom, right underneath assignments. It's going to say CA 102. And if we click on that, it's going to take us into this help folder that's going to walk us right through this assignment, gives us great pictures, and shows us how to get everything done. So that will make your lives a lot easier throughout this week. And then don't forget about all the new information that was popped into the class cafe as far as your time zones, your Zoom 101, temporary uniform code, and all that other good information. So, Chef Matthew.
Yes.
You have any good words before we finish our program here and take some questions?
I think you all should be proud of yourselves. I'm impressed with every one of you, and I honestly respect every one of you for what you're doing. It's a lot to undertake. I know what it is to get into school and be working full time and have kids, and I know that what that takes. So stay positive, ask lots of questions, and don't forget we're here to help. If I give you an idea, I want you to steal it. If you ask me a question, I'm going to give you my best answer or lead you to someone who can give you a better answer than I can. So I love talking about food. I love working with culinary. I love teaching. So I'm here to help you.
Yep. And speaking of that, there was some awesome communication. I got a lot of messages this week from a lot of you out there. If you guys have any questions regarding your assignment or any questions regarding attendance, I can't make it, I got issues, whatever's going on, reach out to me. If you have any questions regarding your specific assignment, the grade you got, you don't understand it, you need more information, reach out to Chef Matthew. Google Drive, call technical support, take a look at the help link on the page. They are there to support you. Career Services, they help you get to work. They help you utilize the skills that you are learning out there. So did we get everybody's questions? Timothy Wilson, did we get your question?
Yes, if you hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Basically, one of my biggest questions is we're learning knife techniques. We're learning later on. We'll be doing some of the mother sauces, things like that. But one of my biggest things looking forward to in class, are we going to learn how to make our own recipes and like how to pair different foods?
You will start working on that. You will start working on that in your next block on your CA 121. So currently we're just really focused on getting you guys down with your techniques, which you're going to learn a lot of different techniques. And then once you get into CA 121, you're going to start working without recipes. And then as the program progresses, you will be developing recipes and all that other kind of good information as well.
Absolutely. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and then, yeah, Timothy,
cool.
you know, I had the same mentality as you when I was going to culinary school. I wanted to start creating that stuff and putting that information together. But learning those techniques is such a priority. Once you learn those techniques, you will be unstoppable with recipe development.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chef.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anybody else have any questions? Awesome. What's that? Anybody?
I have a Google Drive question. You guys had pre-made us folders, and when I went to put my pictures in, I had to put them from one picture from the first folder into the second folder, into the third folder, and then finally into the Google Drive folder. I mean, into the week 1 folder. So I don't know how to do that any better, but I had 13, and I had to move each one like 3 times or 2 times to get into the week 1 folder.
Okay, you should be able to upload directly into your week 1 folder without having to take all of those steps. So what I recommend, take a look at the video underneath the help section on the class page. and that video is going to walk you through it on how to upload into your drive. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'll have to call support then, because I've watched the video several times, and I just because it's set up to where it gives me the week 1 is 2 sections into that first folder. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I had to move it when I would click to move it to, it would only give me the first option, and then I'd have to move it to the next, then move it to the next. It wouldn't give me all 3 options.
Okay, with technical support, you know where their number is located. It's located on the bottom of each page. It's 877-224-8576. They are awesome folks. They are there to walk you through this 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So they're going to help you out, Archie. And anybody else that's in that same boat, certainly take advantage of them. What about Demarley's? Let me see if I can.
Demarley's.
Are you there?
She's on mute.
Yes, you could call me Liz for short if it helped.
Okay, thanks, Liz.
Question. I did all my pictures. I had a hard time too. But what I did, since I'd started everything through my phone, when the technical support called me, they said I could keep doing what I did. That was fine. To add it through my phone and do the rest of my assignment to the laptop.
Okay. Gotcha.
Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. You certainly can do that, and that's not a problem. So keep doing what you're doing. If it's working, have you got your assignment back from Chef Matt yet?
Yes.
Okay, good. And if he was fine with the way you submitted your assignment, then keep doing what you're doing.
So far, so good, I guess.
Yeah. So, amen to you. So keep on moving in that direction.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, if I could.
Quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
With that guy's question about moving the folders and the pictures, he said it would only give him the one option to post it to a folder. I've learned on my Chromebook, if you click that option, it usually goes to the next list of folders, and you can actually select what folder that you want to put it in. It only brings up one folder at a time.
Okay, that's good information. Yeah, so once again, I would definitely refer that to technical support. Chef Matthew and I rock with food and culinary arts, but when it comes to IT, I don't want to steer you down the wrong road. So they're awesome folks, and they're there to help. So take advantage of it. Anybody else have any questions? That's a wrap, folks. Awesome job week 1. I'm looking forward to week 2. I can't wait to see what you guys submit. Any questions, please communicate. Reach out. Let us know what's going on. We're here to help you. We're here to support you and help you succeed. Have a great night, everybody.